Perfect. So new topic today. Yesterday we had discussed about the snapshot. So I uploaded everything on the drive. Now today we will start our session with S3. So today is our day number 9. Yes, and S3 is one of the most important and one of the easiest service to use in the cloud, especially in the AWS cloud. Yes, so let me say that S3 provides the developer and IT teams with a secure, durable, and highly scalable object service. So here we are saying that S3 is nothing but object-based service. So what do you mean by object-based service? Means what? In our last session we have discussed about the EC2 instance, correct? So EC2 instance is nothing but about, it is nothing but one kind of block storage. It is nothing but one kind of block storage. But here S3 says it is simple storage service. Means it is object based service. Means object means any kind of data, any kind of information. It can be your audio, it can be your video, it can be your image or whatever, correct? So whenever you want to store anything onto the cloud, you have to use this service. Whatever we discuss about the EC2 is nothing but one kind of virtual machine, correct? So whenever we are saying S3 is nothing but one kind of storage. So Amazon S3 is easy to use with a simple web service interface to store and retrieve any amount of data from anywhere on the web. See, this is very, very important. Amazon S3 is easy to use. It is simple web service. What do you mean by web service? Whenever I'm saying web service means I'm talking about the HTTP or HTTPS, correct? That means if you want to retrieve any amount of data from the web via HTTP or HTTPS request, you can go with the S3 service. So Amazon S3 is easy to use with a simple web service interface to store and retrieve any amount of data. Any amount of data means unlimited data. You can store unlimited data and you can retrieve from anywhere. That means anywhere means location doesn't matter. Location doesn't matter. You can retrieve any amount of data anywhere across the world. S3 is a safe place to store your file. If you want to store your file, S3 is a safe place to store the files. It is object-based storage. It is object-based storage. That means you just have to drag and drop or you just have to upload your files. Data is automatically distributed across the minimum of 3 physical facilities that are geographically separated within the AWS region. That means whenever you will store the data, it will automatically replicate to AWS regions. And Amazon S3 can also automatically replicate the data to any other AWS region. So we will do the replication also. And this replication is divided into 2 categories. One is nothing but the SRR and one is nothing but the CRR. One is nothing but the same region replication and one is nothing but the cross region replication. Yes, so S3 is a simple storage service, correct? So simple storage service means what? Means whenever you want to store the data, you can store the data onto the cloud. But if you want to store the data, you have to go with the S3 service. Yes, so here it is some detailed description about the S3. So if you are saying that you want to store the data, so file can be from 0 byte to 5 TB and there is an unlimited storage. That means there is no limitation. You can store unlimited of data. Files are stored in bucket. What do you mean by bucket? Bucket is nothing but one kind of web folder. Yes, like we have a folder in our laptop, we have a D drive, we have a E drive and everything, correct? So files are stored in bucket. So bucket is nothing but one kind of web folder where you can store the data. You cannot install any operating system on S3. That means if you're using the S3 service, you cannot use any kind of operating system over here. Here operating system is not required. It is just one kind of hard disk or one kind of folder where you can upload your data and you can store the data, depends on your requirement. And S3 is a universal namespace. That is, name must be uniquely global. Can anyone tell me why the name must be uniquely global? Why we are
Because
saying that?
it
Yes,
is not
because,
limited to any specific region.
okay, any technical answer? Why the S3 name must be uniquely global? Yes, it is pinpointing to some networking services. Yes. You know what is DNS? Let's say I have created my website www.hazynetwork.com. So if I have this is my website name. So do you think any other person in the world can use the same name?
No,
No. Why?
because it should resolve your IP, so it should be unique.
It should be unique. So here, if you're storing the database onto the S3, means what? Means if you are creating one bucket, let's say I have created one bucket, my bucket name is nothing but the bucket one. So if your bucket name is bucket one, then any other person cannot create the bucket with the same name, that is bucket one. No. Yes, you know why? Because S3 is technically reasonless. There is a no reason, it is reason independent. But still, if you want to move the data into specific reason to reduce the latency and everything, you can move the data in specific reason. Correct. So in short, there are so many buckets in the cloud. Correct. So whenever you want to access the bucket, you can type your bucket name and you can access the bucket. So if another person have the same bucket name, that means he's also trying to access the same bucket, and that is not possible. Correct. So your bucket name should be comply with the DNS name. And here it says that if you want to use the S3 service, first of all, you have to sign up for the Amazon S3, then you have to create the bucket, then you have to add an object to an bucket, then you have to view the object, you can move the object, you can delete the object and bucket. That means first of all, you have to log in into your AWS account. After that, you will create one web folder. Then you can add an object, means you will upload the files. Then after that, if you want to see the files or object, you can see the files and object. If you want to move the object from one bucket to another bucket or from one region to another region, you can move it. And after that, if it is not required, you can delete object, or at the end you can delete the bucket also. So these are nothing but the S3 operation. What kind of operation you can perform into the S3? Yes, so let me say next. So here it says data consistency model for the S3. What do you mean by this data consistency model for S3? You can see read after write consistency for puts of new object, and eventual consistency for overwrite puts, and deletes can take sometimes to propagate. What do you mean by this? If you heard about the get request, put request, update request, yes, delete request, correct? You have any idea about the API? Yes, application programming interfaces. Yes,
Yes.
correct. So this API is, again, if I talk about the API in detail, API is again divided into many categories. Sometimes we are saying it is nothing but northbound API, northbound API. Sometimes we are saying it is nothing but the southbound API. Correct. So this northbound and southbound is for networking people. But if I talk about the developer, then you know about the REST API. Correct. If you know about the net config API. Correct. So somewhere you will find REST API, somewhere you will find the net configuration API. Correct. So whenever you will start using the S3 service with the API, at that time you have to use this kind of terminology. Correct. The best example is nothing but the Lambda. In professional, we are doing this one. If you want to trigger your S3 from Lambda, you have to go with the API encoding. You have to go with the API and coding. So data consistency model for S3 means what? Read. Read means what? If I'm saying I am giving someone to read access only. Read access means what? That person can only view the information. If I will say I am giving the read access and write access, means what?
Can view and make changes.
Yes, that person can view the information, that person can delete the information, that person can update the information. Everything can be done by that person. He can view, edit, or update, and everything. Correct. So there is a difference. If I'm saying that I will only allow you to view, that means if you look at my Google Drive, in Google Drive, you have only view option. That means if you want to download, you can download, but you cannot delete. You cannot delete. Delete option is not available for you. You cannot do any changes. You cannot replace the PDF. Correct? Because you have only read access. Similarly, whenever you are working with the S3 service, you can also give the read or write access. Yes. And here S3 is a simple key value store. What do you mean by this simple key value store? Whenever you will upload any object into the S3, this all things today I will show you practically. Whenever you will upload any object or data or file or audio or video into the S3, as we discussed, S3 is object based. So objects consist of the following. It consists key. This is simple, the name of the object. Second, the value. This is simple, the data, and is made up of the sequence of bytes. Third, version ID. Important for versioning. We will discuss the versioning in detail. It will keep the multiple version of your object. 4, metadata. If you are from database background or in system, or I can say database administrator, then you may heard this term metadata. Metadata means what? The data about the data you are storing. If you know about the data warehouse, yes, I studied this thing in 2012 and still I remember. When I was doing the engineering, and we all, like the people who are from engineering background, we had one subject that is nothing but the DBMS, database management system. In master you will get the advanced DBMS. So I studied this one and this one both. Correct? So this concept is belongs to metadata, and again this is nothing but your networking. Correct? As I told you, everywhere you will see some part of networking access control list. Let's say I have created one bucket. My bucket is bucket 1. Let's say I want to allow Sunil only to access. I will allow Sunil and let's say Abhi to access. If I will allow any third person A, B, C to access. So if you want to allow multiple people to access, how you will provide the access? Based on what you will provide the access? Yes, it's simple, correct? It's just one kind of permission. It is just one kind of permission, correct? So whenever you want to allow access to people or a group of people, what you will do? Whenever you want to allow the access to the one person or to the multiple people, you will configure something, and that something is nothing but what? That something is nothing but the access control list. So if you are familiar with this terminology, you can easily understood that what do you mean by access control list and how to allow more than one person or to everyone to access the data and bucket which you have. Yes. So let me go further and let me say that object based, now this one you can see. Yes. Built for 99.99% availability for S3 platform. Amazon guaranteed 99.9% availability, tied storage available, lifecycle management, versioning, encryption, secure data using the access control list and bucket policy. What is the difference between 99.9% and 99.99% and 99.11 times 9%? Yes. If you know about this one, that means you are the correct network or security engineer. There is a difference. Some company are saying that I want 99.9%. Someone are saying I want 99.99%. Someone are saying that I want 99.99999%. Correct? Yes. So Amazon AWS provide 99.99% available. Not a single service in the world who is providing with 100% availability and 100% security. Not a single service. It can be in network, it can be in security, it can be in cloud. No one will provide you the 100%. No one says guaranteed delivery of your packet. 99% mostly it is available, correct? It will be down one times in a year. One times in a year. The best example is your mobile phone. If you're using any mobile, if your mobile is not working properly, that means your mobile is not available to you 100%. Similarly, whenever we are talking about the network or security or any kind of services, 99% means almost available, but it may be possible that sometimes it is not available. So S3 provides the 99.99% availability. Amazon guaranteed 99.9% availability for 99. Tied storage. What do you mean by tied storage? That means whenever you are storing the data onto the cloud, which kind of storage you want. You want the storage for 1 week, you want the storage for 1 month, you want the storage for 6 months, you want the storage for 1 year, or you want a lifetime storage. Which kind of storage you want. If you're storing the data, for how long you want to store the data, correct? So that will be decided based on the tied storage available. Life cycle management, very important. Life cycle management means here you are creating some kind of policies and rules. Versioning, as I told you, versioning means whenever you will upload the data, one mirror image or one copy of data will be automatically created. Encryption, again, this is nothing but the security, correct? At least you know about the CCNA security, and at least you know about the CCNA enterprise, correct? As I promised, if you know these two things, you will get 100% in any cloud. It can be Azure cloud, or it can be Azure cloud, or it can be GCP cloud. Yes, this is the prerequisite for the cloud. If you don't have this one, then you will understood the cloud, but you will not get the justification or satisfaction. Why? Because whenever this kind of terminology will come, you will think twice before applying. Yes, and again, you can see secure your data using the access control list and bucket policies. This policy is nothing but access control list. If I'm saying router, means SCL. If I'm saying policies, means I'm talking about the firewall. Same functionality, same work, but the name is different. And when you will start the configuration, again, the syntax will be different. The syntax will be different. So secure your data using the access control list or using the bucket policies. I'm only talking about the theory part, correct? Because S3 is very easy service. Anyone can use it and anyone can implement it. But if you know about the some security terminology, then it will be better for you to allow access to the people. So here you can see S3 storage tiers. S3 storage tier means first one, S3 standard storage. Whenever you will store any data in S3, by default it will be in standard storage. Standard storage means what? Frequently accessed data. That means once you will store the data, you can access it frequently, anytime, anywhere. There is no time limit, correct? Whenever you want to access, you can access the data, standard. The next one is nothing but the S3IA. Now, this is important. IA means what? Means here I'm saying infrequent access. What do you mean by infrequently access? Its name says, correct?
Not frequent access, yes.
You are not access it frequently. Means you are not accessing the data. You're not retrieving the data frequently, correct? For the data that is accessed less frequently but requires rapid access, very important, when needed. For an example, this is my bucket. Yes, I have created one bucket and I've stored my data. So if your whatever the database you have over here, if it is belongs to standard, that means no worry. You can pay the lot of money and you can retrieve the data anytime. But if I am saying that the data is stored in this infrequent access, that means, for an example, let's say you have 5 TB data. If you have 5 TB data, so if you have a 5 TB data and if you want to retrieve the data. So whenever you are retrieving the data from S3 infrequent access storage tier, you want your data in few minutes. You want your data in few minutes. If you're downloading the data and it will take 3 to 4 hours, that means it is useless, correct? You cannot wait for 3 to 4 hours. Sometimes you want to retrieve the data suddenly. So whenever you want to retrieve the data suddenly, you have to go with infrequent access, lower fee than S3, but you are charged the retrieval fees. Why you are charging to retrieve the data? Because you are accessing it rapidly. You want the data in short in span of time. You want the data in 5 to 10 minutes. It doesn't matter whatever the amount of data you have stored. Are you listening? Are you with me? This is important, and that's why I'm spending more time on it. Standard means you are paying a lot of money. You are paying a lot of money to Amazon AWS. If I'm saying infrequent access means you are paying the money, but you are paying less money than whatever the money you are paying in S3 standard. Here also you are paying the fees, but and why you are paying the fees? Because you are accessing the data rapidly. You want to download or retrieve the data in short time. And here you can see reduce redundancy storage. This is nothing but the RRS. What do you mean by reduce redundancy storage? Reduce redundancy storage designed to provide you the 99.99% durability and 99.99% availability. Of course, availability. So whenever I'm saying availability, and whenever I'm saying durability, that means there is some kind of redundancy, yes or no? Very simple, yes. Whenever we are saying redundancy means what? Means availability, correct? The same thing if I will say in networking. Let's say this is my router, another router, another router, and another router. I have this router and I have this router. Correct. Let's say I have a one PC connected over here and one PC connected over here. Let's say this is my PC number 1, this is my PC number 2. Let's say this is nothing but my source and this is nothing but my destination. So if I want to send the packet from source to destination, when my packet will reach to router, how many paths we have? 1, 2, and 3. How many paths we have? 3 path. So let's say my router is sending the packet from path number 1. What will happen if this will down? I can send the data through this path, yes or no?
Yes.
What will happen if this
path?
Yes, what will happen if this path is down? If this path is down, I can send the data through this path.
Yeah.
Correct. So here can you see there is a what?
Redundancy.
Redundancy. Correct. So similarly, if you are saying redundancy in cloud in S3, then if you have a redundancy which is designed to provide the 99% durability and 99% availability. Glacier storage, very, very important. Very cheap storage, very cheap. Why very cheap? Because of this one, it is very cheap. Yes, but used for archival only. It takes 3 to 5 hours to restore from the Glacier. Glacier is an extremely low cost storage device service for data archival. Amazon Glacier stores the data for us for as little as 0.01 per gigabyte per month, and it is optimized for data and is infrequently accessed and for which the retrieval time for 3 to 5 hours are suitable. Some data, some information which is not important for you and you are storing onto the S3 and you are saying that, okay, I want to retrieve the data. Amazon will say, okay, if you want to retrieve the data, it will take time. How much time? 3 to 5 hours. You can see these both are exactly opposite, correct? This one and this one are exactly opposite. Here you are retrieving the data rapidly. Here you are retrieving the data in 3 to 5 hours. This 3 to 5 hours, here it is 5 to 10 minutes. If you have a 5 TB data, and here also if you have 5 TB data, if you're storing the data over here in the Glacier, if you have to retrieve the 5 TB data, it will take 3 to 5 hours. But if you are retrieving the data in S3 infrequent access, then it will take only 5 to 10 minutes. And because of this 5 to 10 minutes, you are paying more money. And because of this long time waiting, you are paying less money. Any doubt in this 4? Storage tires.
Then Kriya.
Let me tell you more in detail about the storage tire. Yes, let me say now. Before that, let me tell you this one. Amazon S3 charged for what? Amazon S3 charged for what? Amazon S3 charged for storage, charge for request. Which kind of request? Can anyone tell me? We discussed.
How we retrieve the data?
Excellent.
Retrieval.
Via HTTP.
HTTP and HTTPS.
As get request, put request. If you want to retrieve, you will say get request. So for that request, Amazon will charge. Storage management pricing. That means if you're using the tag, can anyone tell me when we will use the tag? I told you in first session. Tagging is required. Yes.
To identify like some resources, use tagging.
Yeah, you can say whenever you will go with the Python or whenever you will go with the Lambda. Whenever you will go with the Python, whenever you will go with the Lambda, and when you are retrying something from Lambda to S3, at that time you can do the request based on
Tagging.
tagging. This is important. Data transfer pricing, not data moving pricing, data transfer pricing. And moving the data into the S3 is free. If you want to move the data, it is free. But if you are transferring the data, it is paid. Yes, moving means you are just moving the data from one bucket to another bucket. Transferring, you can say that if you are changing the storage type as well. If you are changing the storage type, definitely you have to pay. Yes, this is the URL for pricing. I will show you the same thing over here. Yes, let me show you over here. You can see this one. Correct, this screenshot which I have taken from the internet. So here it says that S3 standard, S3 intelligent tiering, standard infrequent, one zone infrequent. That means if you're putting your data in one availability zone, if you're putting your data in Glacier storage or Glacier deep archive. Here you can see 11 times 9, 11, 9, 11, 9, 11, 9, 11, 9, designed for durability. Correct. So here you can see same type of durability you will get in all the storage types. Designed for availability. Yes, when I'm saying design for availability, you can see 99.99, 99.9, 99.9, 99.5, 99.99, 99.99. There is a difference. Yes, you have to focus on the number. You can see availability 99.9, 99, 99, 99, 99.9, 99.9. Correct. So this is far better as compared to this one and this one. Availability zone. Correct. Greater than, you can put the data greater than 3 availability zone, greater than 3 availability zone, greater than 3. And if you are saying that one zone means definitely one zone, specially one zone, that means you are storing the data in one zone only. Yes, minimum capacity charge per object, not applicable because you are already paying a lot of money. But here you are saying S3 standard infrequent means you are paying, you have to charge per 128 KB. 40 KB, 40 KB. Minimum storage duration charge not applicable for 30 days, 30 days. And you can see here it is 90 days and 180 days. Retrieval fees not applicable per GB, retrieval per GB, per GB, per GB. First byte latency in millisecond, 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 millisecond. And you can see select minutes or hours, or there is a, even in Glacier deep archiving, there is no option for minutes. You have to wait for hours and then you can retrieve the data. Correct. So this chart is very, very important. Frankly speaking, and to be honest, you will come to know, you will come to know about this kind of things in detail when you will start working as a cloud engineer. Why? Because when you will start working as a cloud engineer, whenever an inquiry will come or when you will start working on any projects, you have to consider this whole storage tires depends on your customer requirement. Some customers are saying that I just want to store the data. I don't take care. Yes, I cannot take care that whenever I want to retrieve, it will take 3 to 4 hours also, that is fine. But some customer says that I want to retry my data immediately and in millisecond. I don't want any kind of latency. Millisecond means there is nothing like latency. Then definitely you will go with this one or this one. Correct. Storage type, of course, S3 itself is object-based storage. So entirely there is a object. Life cycle transactions, yes, 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 and yes. So go through this table. Once again, when you will compare this table, when you will compare this value, you will automatically get your answer. You can compare this, focus on each and every number, focus on this availability zone, focus on this latency especially. Yeah, let me say what is next. S3 lab. Yes, can I show you the labs? Before moving to the labs, next time when you will come next time, we will go with this one. We will go with versioning, replication, SRR and CRR. Before that, let me, whatever we discussed so far, that is just a simple introduction about the S3 service. Correct. Now, when you will go through the documentation part from the Amazon, there are thousands of pages on to the S3. Correct. But this, whatever the information I'm showing you over here, that is the filter information and important information. If you want detailed information, you can just go through the AWS Blueprint PDF. You will get in detail information about the Amazon S3. Yeah. So now, whatever we discuss, don't worry if you not get anything, or if something, or if you have any questions, just look at the lab, because in lab you will get everything. So here you can see right now you all are able to see the region. Yes, can you see the region? Virginia, Ohio, California, and this region are visible. Yes. Whenever I will say I want to use the S3 service, whenever you will say S3, so I will just open my S3 dashboard. Oh shit. Let me log in into it. So I have enabled the authentication. So let me say, let me log into it and let me say that. Yes, now this is my S3 dashboard. Correct. You can see they've mentioned the notes. Read the S3 resource page for documentation and technical contents. So this is my S3 dashboard. When I choose my S3 dashboard, can you see my all regions are hidden? Hello. When I was using the EC2, I can use any region, but when I jump onto the S3 dashboard, I'm not able to see any region. Yes.
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 Very
Yes.
simple.
Everything is grayed out.
Yeah, everything is hidden. And here you can see last time, yesterday, what we have discussed. What we have discussed yesterday, if you remember.
Snapshots.
Snapshot. It is available over here also, correct? So that's why yesterday we discussed the snapshot first, and then today we are discussing the S3. Now, if I will say what is snapshot, and if you don't have any idea about the snapshot, then it will create the problem for you. So as of now, are you able to see any bucket?
No.
No. Yes.
No.
You don't have any bucket. So first of all, what you will do? You will
Create a bucket.
create the bucket. So now you have to focus. I will say create the bucket. So when I'm saying that I want to create the bucket, you can see type the bucket name. For an example, let me take anyone name. Let me say any person name. Correct. Let me say I want to create one bucket with the name happy. Correct. So if I will say happy, or if I will say happy, just say
Yes.
happy bucket one. Correct. Happy bucket
Yes.
one. So here Amazon says that whenever you are creating the bucket, it is part of which region? Suppose happy, you are from Zambia, correct?
Yes. Yes.
So whatever the data center which is near to Zambia, you can select that particular data center. Correct. Let's say right now I am saying that you are from India, and I am saying my region is which region? Mumbai region. Now here copy settings from existing bucket. That means if you have any existing bucket, then you can choose that particular bucket over here. If you have any existing bucket, if you already have any existing bucket, but if you don't have any existing bucket, you can create the new bucket. I'm going to create the bucket. Yes. Now,
Since I don't have.
yeah, before going, before moving ahead, if I will click on create the bucket, do you think it will allow me to create the bucket? My simple question is that, what is my bucket name? Happy bucket 1. Yes,
Yes.
everyone. So now if I will say create the bucket, you can see it will give me an error. It is giving me an error. Yes. You can read the error here. What is the error? Error says that bucket name must not contain which kind of character?
Uppercase.
Uppercase.
Let me give you the best example. Let me say Hazy Network. Let me say HDFC Bank. Let me go to the HDFC Bank. Let me say Cisco website. Yes, Cisco. Let me open any kind of website. Any kind of website in this world. Can you see? Are you able to see any capital letter over here? You can see the URL. No. Can you see any capital letter over here? Any capital letter in any website. Any website. You can open any website. Suppose in Canada, we are using the Scotia Bank. So let me click on the Scotia Bank. Can you see the URL?
Yeah, all are small.
Excellent.
Everything is
All are small. And if you know about the DNS, domain name service, without DNS, you cannot work or you cannot do anything in networking. Correct? If you don't know what is ARP, yeah, if you don't know what is ARP, what is ICMP, what is DNS, you cannot move ahead. Correct? So here, whatever the bucket name you will give, that comply with the DNS name. Very, very important. Here, if I'll say my bucket name is 1.1.1, can you see it is again giving me the error? Yes. Can anyone tell me why technically it is giving me an error?
Because the resolution of IP addresses in two names.
Excellent answer. Brilliant. Outstanding.
Yeah.
Yes, whatever the answer you said, that is technically 100% correct. Bucket name must not resemble an IP address, correct? Because which kind of IP address it is?
Public.
Public. Someone is using this IP address, yes or no? Yes.
Very likely.
Of course, bucket name with the same is already exist. Amazon says that bucket name is already created with this particular. There is two things. First, you cannot go with IP. Second, you cannot create the bucket with the same name. Okay, let me give another name. For an example, nowadays, Corona is booming. Yes. Nowadays,
Because
the Corona
for now,
correct. Let me say Corona. You can see if I will say Corona, can you see someone already created the bucket with the name?
Corona.
So you cannot create the bucket with this particular name. These are the rules and regulations that you have to follow while you are creating the bucket into the here. See, what is the why you are learning this one? Very simple. Let's say you have a laptop. Yes, in your laptop you have a 200 GB data. In your laptop you have 200 GB data. Your laptop capacity is 500 GB. Let's say 200 GB data is already, 200 GB space is already occupied. My dear, you can do one thing. You can simply create the bucket on the cloud. It is free. Yes, and you can upload the 200 GB data from your laptop to cloud. That's it. And you can utilize the 200 GB space from your laptop. Yes or no?
Okay.
Yes or no?
Then
And whatever the data you will upload on this cloud, it is free. You can access it anytime, whenever you want. It is like your laptop on hard disk. You will just to edit the hard disk and you can retrieve the data. Yes. Yes, this is the first use of the S3 storage. You cannot believe. Now, in our last 8 sessions, we have discussed about which service? EC2, yes?
EC2 instance, yes.
So whenever you will go for the interview, that person will ask that, can I access the S3 from EC2? Now, if I will ask you the same question, can I access whatever the bucket? Let's say I will create one bucket. Now, this bucket, if I want to access from my router, from my switch, from my firewall, from my virtual server, can I access it? Yes, you can access it. Yes.
Okay.
That you can access it. Happy.
Correct? Yes, sir.
Yes. Now,
correct,
what like you, I don't know your name of your company. It will start with something P or like that. Correct?
Paratus.
Paratus, correct. So whatever the company through which for company which you are working, after 1 year or after 2 years, your company will start using the cloud-based services. And at that time, if you don't know anything about the cloud, you will be fired. Correct. Suppose,
true.
yeah, right now you are working on the cloud, so you will remember the cloud. Previously, you work on the routing and switching. You know the routing and switching little bit. If you not work on routing and switching for 2 months, you will completely forget the routing and switching in 2 months only. Yeah. Yes. If you will start learning the security, you will learn the security nicely in 1 month. And if you not use the security services for 2 months, again, you will completely forget the security services. But when you will remember if your concept is clear. It's very simple. Correct? So if I am saying access control list, here I'm not saying that you have to configure the access control list. If you know the concept of access control list, you can use it. Even in AWS, I will show you the configuration of BGP. I will show you the configuration of OSPF. I will show you the configuration of EIGRP. I will show you the configuration of routing, static route, default route, everything I will show you in this cloud only, Correct? That means if you know about the networking, then you can work on it. For an example, the best example is over here. Can you see? This is my VPC, correct? And here I have not gone through the routing process inside the cloud, but we will do later one. Can you see this is my VPC dashboard? Yes.
Yes, sir.
If I will go in my VPC dashboard and if I will use one service, that is nothing but the transit gateway. Can you see? I just open one thing, that is transit gateway. When I will click on transit gateway. Can you look at over here?
Yes, sir.
Can you read this one? Can you read this one? What it says over here? An autonomous system number.
System number, yes.
Side of which protocol?
BGP.
BGP. You can use the default AS number, or you can specify the private AS number in the. This is the range of private AS number. There are total 65535. They have mentioned 34, yes, but there are technically 35 autonomous system number. Correct? So can you see? You can just assume that they are talking in cloud. They are talking about which protocol?
BGP.
Now you tell me, when you will learn the BGP? BGP is part of which track?
CCNP.
CCNP. Purely CCNP, enterprise or routing and switching. Yes. Now, yes, if you don't know the BGP, this option cannot use. You cannot use this option. And if you cannot use this option, you cannot use the transit gateway service. And if you cannot use the transit gateway service, you cannot do the communication between two or more than two cloud. Are you getting me what I'm saying?
Yes, now I get it.
Now you got it. You can connect the dots.
Meaning I can't talk to Azure and the AWS.
Anything. Let's say this is my company cloud. This is your company cloud. This is someone else company's cloud. You want to move the data from this company to this company or from here to here. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Very simple. Let's say your company is using the AS number 6400. Here they are using the 64001. They are using the 64002. So how many AS number we have?
3.
Of course, if you want to do the routing between 3 AS, which protocol you will use?
BGP.
Simple.
BGP.
Yes or no?
That's true.
That's true.
Very
and
true.
You can show this one also.
Default route table.
Correct. How to advertise the default route in BGP? You have any idea? Or in which case we have to advertise the default route in BGP? No. As of now, no. Right? You learn the CCNP, but you are not able to remember now. You know why? Because you learn it before 1 or 2 months. Yes.
It's true.
Correct. So when you will go for the interview, that person will ask on the CCNP also. That person will ask on the CCNP security also. Correct. This is the outdated. Forget about this one. Everyone know about this one. That person will ask you about this one. And that person will ask you about this one. And that person will ask you about this one. Correct. Yeah. So this is by default. Correct. You also know about this one. So if you learn this one, you will forget this one. Yes.
True.
It's very simple. If you learn this one, you will again forget this one. Yes.
It's true.
Correct.
The mind just moves like that.
Correct. So how many things you can remember at the same time? Correct.
You need big brains.
Yes. Perfect. So why I'm telling you this one? because as I promised, once you will learn, if I promise, if you'll do all the labs, whatever the labs I did in this entire AWS Solution Architecture Associate, you will get the first job in cloud. And within 6 months, you will be promoted as a senior or as a associate level position. That is promise from my side, but you have to do all the labs with detail and with full of understanding. I will show you the transit gateway lab when we will discuss about the VPC peering. As of now, I'm going back to my S3. Correct. So here, why I am saying S3? I am saying S3 because in S3 also there is something like networking. So create the bucket. Let me create the bucket. Let me say this is my CANADA Canada bucket 1. If there is no any bucket with this name, it will show me this. It will agree with this bucket name. I'm in Canada region. Now here you can see who is the object owner. Who is the owner of this bucket? Specify. Yes, owner of this bucket, the person who have this account, this person has the owner of bucket or object ownership. Control ownership of objects written to this bucket from the other AWS accounts and the granted using the AWS access control list. Yes. Now here, if I will say how many types of access control list are there?
Standard and extended.
Tell me how many types of ACL are there?
2 types. Standard, external, time based, content based.
Correct.
Yes.
So when you will start working with the access control list, you will not use any of this bucket name. You will not use this ACL over this. You can use this one. You can use this one. This one we will not use. This will be used by the internet service provider. You can use this access control list methodology over here. Now here I will not teach you what is ACL, yes or no, because that is the part of your routing and switching. So here it says that access control list means what? Means to whom you want to allow access to this particular bucket. Let's say I have uploaded everything on my Google Drive, yes or no? From where you are accessing the files and lab PDF and recorded session. So here also I allowed you the access. Yes, if I will not allow the access, you cannot access. So similarly, whenever you are uploading anything on the AWS S3, you have to allow the people. So whenever you want to allow, what you will configure?
Access control list.
Access control list. Objects in these buckets can be owned by the other AWS account. Can you see? Happy. Let's say your account name is Happy. My account name is Jagdish. So if I want to share something with you, what I will do?
Yeah.
I will configure the ACL. I will allow yes.
Okay.
By default, ACL is disabled. You can see. And here you can see,
Yes.
if I will go in detail about the security, block public access settings for this bucket. By default, no one can access the data from my bucket. By default, no one can access the data from my bucket. Can you see why? Block all public access is enabled. That means you all are blocked. Yes or no? Yes, by default, you all are blocked. You cannot access anything from my S3 bucket. And if you want to manually enable it, you can see the first option. Block public access to the buckets and objects granted through the new access control list, through any access control list, through any public bucket or access point policies. Here I'm talking about the firewall, and block public and across account to access the bucket and object through any public bucket or access point policies. Correct. So right now, by default, whenever I will put the data in my bucket, no one can access because of this reason. Now versioning, we have a separate lab for versioning. AWS says that whenever you will start using the AWS services, especially the S3 services, you have to enable the versioning. What you have to enable? Whenever we will configure the router, after doing the configuration, we are using this command. What is the use of this command?
Write.
Write memory. Yes. Which command we are using?
Yes. Write memory.
Write memory means what? Means you are saving the configuration.
save.
Yes.
You're saving, yes.
You are saving the configuration. Okay. What will happen if this router will crash? Then also, if you already have a configuration, if your router is properly shut down or not working, you cannot retrieve your information. Yes.
It's gone for good. Yeah.
Yeah, it will be gone forever. But here cloud says that whenever you will enable the versioning, if anything will be deleted from your bucket, the same copy will be stored at other places also. If this is completely destroyed, you can also access it from here.
Okay.
Interesting.
Big advantage.
Big advantage.
That's big advantage.
And here you can see versioning is a means of keeping multiple variants of an object in the same bucket, or you can do in the different bucket also. Correct. So we will do the lab. By default, it is disabled.
Disabled.
As I told you, the text, we will do the text when we will go with the automation part.
Okay.
Yes. Means what? Means, have you heard about the DevOps?
We've heard about it, but we haven't yet practiced, some of us.
No problem. So whenever you will start using the Lambda function, Lambda is nothing but one kind of mathematical function, but in cloud, this Lambda is nothing but one kind of coding. So whenever you want to trigger something from Lambda to your S3 or from your S3 bucket, we will use the tag. It is optional as of now, but when you will start with the Lambda, you have to use it. Got it?
Okay.
Yes. Now
noted.
let me scroll it down. Now again, there is a security. Can you see?
Encryption.
Default security encryption. Yes. Now tell me, what is the difference between IPsec phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3? Okay, leave it. What is the difference between DMVPN phase 1, phase 2, phase 3? The people who attended my today's webinar, Gajanan Pandey, we were near about 50 people. Yes, and we have explained this
Yes,
one.
sir.
Yes.
Hmm.
Correct. So you know what do you mean by phase 1, phase 2, phase 3? What actually the DMVPN is? It is nothing but one kind of VPN. Yes.
Yes.
The same VPN you have to use in AWS as well. Are you getting me what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yes, same VPN, same DMVPN phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, same IPsec also. Yes. Yes, I'm just trying to explain you everything over here. And in each and every AWS services, you have to use the same thing. Correct? Default encryption. If you want to enable the encryption, you can enable the encryption. Now, let me give you one example. This is your phone. Yes. What is this? This is your phone. You have set the screen password. Let's say my password is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now you are traveling and somewhere you have forgot your phone. You lost your phone. Some other person will get your phone. Yes or no?
To fix it, yes.
Now tell me one thing, that this unknown person don't know about your password, correct?
Yes, sir.
So this person cannot do anything with your data which you have inside your mobile. Yes.
No access.
No access. This person can do one thing. This person can reset the mobile and this person can use the mobile. Yes.
Can use, yeah, I can reset it to default.
Yes or no? Any person, the person who got your mobile, that person can reset, format your mobile, and that person can use your mobile, but your data is still secure. Can you say?
Oh, okay.
Yes or no? Your data is still secure now. Why? Because this person have not accessed the data. This person is accessing what? Phone.
The phone.
Are you getting me what I'm saying? There is a difference. You know, I'm talking about the encryption. What is encryption? Encryption is says that, let me give you best example. Whenever you will open our AWS Lab PDF file, which password you are entering?
AWS.
If I will not give you the password, you have file, you have PDF file, correct?
Yes, already downloaded.
Yes, you have downloaded, you stored everything, but until and unless you not get the password, you cannot use it. Yes or no?
No, you can't. You can't. It has never opened.
You cannot open. So it will not open. This means it is useless for you. Yes.
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 Just a download.
So this is nothing but what?
Encryption.
Encryption. I will show you the encryption. Encryption is there in professional, but still, if you want it, I will show you. And advanced sharing, you can see. Can you see something in advanced storing? Yes. advanced setting. What is there in advanced setting? Can you believe it? They are providing the object lock facility. What do you mean by object lock facility? Let's say this is my bucket. Yes, inside this bucket, I have file 1, file 2, file 3, file 4, file 5. I want to lock this file, file number 5. Which file I want to lock? Only file number 5. Only file number 5. Correct? Store objects using the write once, read many. Write once, read many model to help you prevent object from being deleted or overwritten for a fixed amount of time. That means if you want to lock any object, you can lock the object as well. Right now it is disabled. Object lock works only in the versioned bucket. What do you mean by version bucket? Can anyone tell me what do you mean by version bucket? Come on, means
Multiple.
There will be a version.
whenever the versioning option is enabled. Enabling object lock automatically enable the bucket versioning. After creating the bucket, you can upload the files and folders to the buckets and configure additional bucket, security settings if you want to configure. So now let me say create the bucket. You can see my bucket name. What is my bucket name? Canada B1, Canada bucket 1. You got the notification over here that your bucket is successfully created. Now, once your bucket is created, you can see the bucket name, reason, bucket access, creation date and time. Once your bucket is created, you just have to click over here. Once you will click over here, you can see upload the data. Let me show you before uploading the data. Here, suppose if I will go and if I will say, I want, this is the screenshot of today's webinar. Let me put the screenshot over here. You can see I'm just doing what I'm just doing the drag and drops. Yes, let me go and let me put the 2 files over here. Can you see? Hello, are you able to see my screen? Yes, let me put the files.
Yes, sir.
You can see I can drag and drop the files over here. Can you see? Yes, you can see. Add the files and folders you want to upload to S3. To upload the files larger than 160 GB. If your one file size is more than 160 GB, what you will do? Sunil, this is important for you, my brother. Sunil, if your one file is larger than 160 GB, then you have to go with what?
CLI.
What do you mean by SDK? Software
Development kit.
They defined what development kit. Just before we talk about this one, Sunil,
REST API.
I told you, yes. Yes. So right now we uploaded 2 files and here I use the option drag and drop. You can go with the option drag and drop. Once you will upload, if you want to do any setting, you can do the setting. Permissions we will discuss, don't worry. Correct. You can see the properties. You can see the storage class. If you remember, we have discussed about the storage class. We already discussed. Hello, are you able to see? Standard,
Yes.
intra-quantizers, this one zone, glacier. I have shown you, I've discussed in PPT. Yes.
Yeah, we noticed. We saw this one.
Yes, and you can see server-side encryption. What do you mean by client-side encryption and server-side encryption?
Means once we upload anything in the server, it should be protected over there.
Perfect. Correct. So you can specify encryption key or specify encryption key. This key we have to create. If you will not create, Amazon will create on behalf of you. What do you mean by SSC S3 and SSC KMS? KMS stands for what? Key management services.
System. Okay.
Correct. System or services, whatever you can say. Right now we are not going with the KMS. I'm not adding any kind of text. I'm just saying the upload the files. Once you will see upload the files, your 2 files are uploaded over here. You can see the total size of 2 files is through 349.4 kbps. Yes, once your file will be uploaded, it will look like this. If you go back to your bucket, you can see how many files you have. When you will come into the next session, I will go into this action field. I will go, you can create the folder and you can upload the data. Now, as of now, can you see the properties? When I will click on the properties, you can enable the versioning, text, encryption, you can change the tiering, you can, do the CloudTrail. We will discuss about the CloudTrail event notification. If you need a notification in your mobile, you will get the notification as well. You can log the object, you can request the page, you can host your website. Initially, when I have created my website, I hosted over here, but here I'm paying more charges. This website, I'm talking about this website. When when we'll discuss about the website hosting, I will show you the live example with my own website, correct? Because I can do the practical on my website. So you can do the website hosting over here. And permissions we will discuss, don't worry, I'm just going through the options right now. You can see bucket policy, bucket ownership, and this all things, access control list. Yes, if I'll go with the metrics, you can define the metrics over here. If I'll go with the management, you can do the lifecycle management and this all things. You can see there are multiple replication rules and inventory options are there. Access point means to whom you want to allow or give the access. So right now I'm not going anywhere, I'm just clicking on my image one. So once you will click on your image, you will get this all information. If you remembered, we have discussed. If you remembered, we have discussed. This is the owner, region, last modified, total size, type, key, URI, Amazon resource name, tag, and object URL.
Okay.
Yes. Now let me give you one example. I am just putting this URL in our chat. You just have to click on it and tell me, are you able to access the URL? Oh, just click on the URL. Are you able to open the URL, or you are getting the same message like I'm getting over here?
Yeah, same message.
Same message, yes. Yes, you are not able to access anything, my dear. Or no one can
same
access.
message.
Same message. Which kind of message you are getting?
Code access denied.
Access denied. This is the request ID. Sunil. Yes.
Yes.
This is the host ID. Yes.
Yeah.
Now you are the developer. That means you know everything about this one. Yes.
Yes.
I also know, but you know, correct? Here you can see they started the error, they ended the error. Yes.
Yes.
This is the code started, code ended, message started, message ended. These are the 4 fields. They have put it over here and everything is ended. And finally you started the error. So you are started the bracket. So you are closing the bracket. Yes. And this is your which kind of message?
Error message.
Error message. If I talk about the HTML or if I talk about the PHP, the same documentation or scripting, it is showing you over here. XML is nothing but one kind of documentation. What?
It's a document. Yeah.
Yes, I'm not a pure developer like you, Sunil, but I'm good in developing. Correct. So definitely you will enjoy my each and every session. Correct.
Right.
Now you think I know the RNS, I know the security, I know the cloud, I know the language, I know the DevOps, correct? I know the Palo Alto, I know the ASA. So how many things I can remember? I am also a human being like you. Yes.
Right.
Correct. But I can, as I said, once you will connect this all things together, it will take 3 to 4 years. Don't worry. Correct. Once you will learn this all things, and when you will at the end, when you will connect, these things are very, very easy. Yes. So right now you are not able to access the file which I put it over here. Correct. So in next session, when you will come, I will show you. I can download. Can you see I have downloaded the file? Yes.
Yes.
Correct. I have downloaded the files myself. I can download. I can do whatever I want to do. Correct. Can anyone tell me when I'm trying to access it from here, from my laptop, from my browser, why it is not allowing me? I need technical answer. You got my question? My question is that from here I'm able to download. Yes, but when I change the new tab, I'm not able to download it. Why?
Because we are querying, so we are doing GET request, and we have to pass authentication as well to access it.
Excellent. Because Sunil, I am in my AWS account right now, correct?
Yes.
But when you will change the tab now, Amazon thinking that someone is trying to access from somewhere else. Yes.
Yes.
And that's why you can see your access is denied. Correct. Because if I'm in this tab, I'm owner of this account, I can do. But when you are changing the tab means Amazon will treat you as a new customer.
Okay.
Got it? So next time I will show you this I will configure the access control list and I will allow you to access this one. So that's why our
सर एक क्वेरी था।
बोलिए सर बोलिए।
सर मैं आज बना रहा था वॉल्यूम उसका स्नैपशॉट का, तो सर वॉल्यूम सर वो क्या हो रहा था कि वो एरर इंसिडेंट नहीं आ रहा था कि इस इंसिडेंट में आप वो कर रहे हो, वो कुछ आ नहीं रहा था इंसिडेंट में।
Yes, why नहीं आ रहा था? You know, can I tell you why? Can I मैं बताता हूँ
एरर आ रहा था कि नीड टू सेम जोन, ऐसा बोल रहा था।
When you will create the volume, your volume
हाँ।
should have the same availability zone like your EC2 instance have.
Yes.
I told you.
Okay.
I told you when we discuss about the EBS at that time, I told you that you can go through the recorded session as well. That see, first you will create the EC2 instance. Yes, Gajanan,
Right.
your EC2 instance is part of availability zone. Yeah. Now you are creating the volume and your volume is part of availability zone B. So this is part of your data center 2. This is part of your data center 1. You cannot connect. There is an option that to connect, but in associate you cannot connect. Correct. So if you are creating the volume today, you can try with the same availability zone. And once you will say I want to attach, when you will say attach, you will get the option with your EC2 instance. Got it?
Okay, sir.
Any other question from your side?
सर वन थिंग सर, क्वेश्चन
Yes.
मेरा था ये कि जैसे जैसे मेरे 500 टीबी का है, तो मान लीजिए इसमें मेरा 1 GB डाटा लॉस हो गया, तो हमको 500 टीबी वॉल्यूम को फॉर्मेट करना पड़ेगा या हमको केवल एक 10 फोल्डर को मेरे को रिकवर करना है?
नहीं समझा आपका क्वेश्चन। स्टार्ट फ्रॉम फर्स्ट।
जैसे कल आपने बताया ना, जैसे 10-20 GB का हमने दिया था तो पूरा 20 GB डिलीट कर दिए, अब फिर न्यू वॉल्यूम क्रिएट।
धीरे धीरे आराम से बोलो, क्या बोल रहे हो आप?
कल आपने 20 GB का डाटा था,
Okay,
वॉल्यूम था,
20 GB
ड्राइव डाटा, हाँ, तो
Yeah, 20
आपने
GB.
पूरा 20 GB डिलीट करके न्यू वॉल्यूम क्रिएट किए थे, राइट?
Yes.
अगर वो सर 100 TB का होता, 1 TB का होता, 2 TB का होता, तो उसमें 100 TB से हम फॉर्मेट हटा के फिर 100 TB दोबारा नहीं ना कर सकते हैं। हम कुछ फोल्डर या फाइल चाहते हैं, स्पेसिफिक फोल्डर डिलीट हो गया, फाइल डिलीट हो गया, तो स्पेसिफिक फोल्डर या फाइल नहीं कर सकते हैं क्या, या पूरा वॉल्यूम को करना पड़ेगा?
नहीं, आप कर सकते हो, आप एक फाइल को भी कर सकते हो।
जी
करेक्ट।
जी।
एंड दैट्स व्हाई हम लोगों ने कल वो वाली सर्विस यूज की थी। कौन सी? स्नैपशॉट। आप एक स्नैपशॉट देखो, स्नैपशॉट आप एक EBS वॉल्यूम का ले सकते हो, स्नैपशॉट आप पूरे EC2 इंस्टेंस का ले सकते हो। लेकिन अगर आप ये बोल रहे हो कि मेरे पास एक ही फोल्डर है, पहली बात तो ये 15 TB का एक फोल्डर होता नहीं है, बट लेट्स से यू इन योर केस ओनली 15 TB हार्ड डिस्क और EBS वॉल्यूम, करेक्ट। अब इसमें कुछ ना कुछ कंपोनेंट्स तो होगा, आपकी कुछ फाइल होगी, करेक्ट। अगर आप चाहते हो कि मैं इसी एक फाइल को बाय मिस्टेकली किसी ने इस फाइल को डिलीट कर दिया, अब आप सिर्फ एक फाइल को रिट्राइव करना चाहते हो, करेक्ट?
जी 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 जी।
You can retrieve it. Then you have to go with the API. Then you have to go with the SDK. और इसीलिए हम लोग पढ़ते हैं ये वाला API. REST API का मतलब क्या होता है? REST API का मतलब होता है रिप्रेजेंटेशन स्टेट ट्रांसफर। क्या होता है?
रिप्रेजेंट स्टेट ट्रांसफर। ये
भी आपके CCNP का ही पार्ट है, नॉट ओल्ड CCNP, न्यू CCNP। ये भी आपके OSPF में आता है, ये भी आपके EIGRP में आता है, ये भी आपके BGP में आता है। पहले कोई नहीं पूछता था, आज आप एक भी इंटरव्यू अटेंड करना, they will ask you this question before asking this question. और ये किसका पार्ट है? किसका पार्ट है?
स्टीवन का।
स्टीवन का।
Okay.
Yes.
Got it.
Any other
Sir,
question?
Thank you.
सर एक क्वेश्चन था।
बोलिए।
जो AWS क्लाउड है, इसको हम कंपनीज में इम्प्लीमेंट कैसे करते हैं एग्जैक्टली? एम्प्लॉय के बीच में कैसे होगा ये यूटिलाइज?
आप कौन से सिनेरियो में इम्प्लीमेंट करना चाहते हो, बोलो।
मतलब मेरा अकाउंट है, तो अब कैसे मेरे, अगर मुझे सारी सर्विसेज, सारा वर्चुअलाइजेशन सब कुछ इसमें रन करना है, कैसे करूंगा मैं इसमें?
एक
मेरे
बेस्ट
एम्प्लॉय को और क्लाइंट भी देना है।
आपकी कंपनी में, आप मैनेजर हो, आपकी कंपनी में 50 एम्प्लॉय आपके अंडर है, रेडी? चलो आपके 50 एम्प्लॉय को you allow your all employees to use AWS services. Yes, AWS services. Forget about the routing and switching or anything. Correct? Yes. Now, first of all, let me start from very scratch. You know about the Active Directory? Yes. Active Directory तो सबने सुना ही होगा. You can use Active Directory service over here to send request, to receive the request, to send the data, to receive the for security purpose. You can use the Active Directory services. Now, if you want to monitor your all the employees, what they are doing every day, if you want to monitor the the like type of work, or if you want to do any kind of monitoring, you can do with the cloud services. Second thing, if you are saying that, let's say this is very simple, correct? Let's say you are talking about the client. Let's say you are the owner of the company, and any client is visited your office and he said, sir, I want to move, or I want to use your cloud services. So first you will take all the details from your client, which kind of service you want to use. He is developer, your client, are like any kind of any kind of software company owner, and he says that you want to move everything into the cloud. If that person is, let's say your client is belongs to the database, then of course if it is belongs to database, you will go with the RDS or DynamoDB service. If it is belongs to like developing, then you will go with the web hosting services. Or if any person who is working in the networking industry, let's say Cisco says to AWS that I want to move everything onto the cloud. So if Cisco want to move everything onto the cloud, means Cisco talking about the devices and Cisco talking about the data center. Correct? So whenever your client will change, your requirement change. So whenever your requirement will change, your AWS services will change. When you can satisfy to any client, in this world, when you know almost all the AWS services. Right now, if I will say, DynamoDB, if you say, no, I don't know the DynamoDB, then you cannot give a satisfaction to any client. Why? Because all the clients have database, yes or no? Correct. So how you will connect this database with your DynamoDB services? You cannot. Right now, you don't know about the SQS. Each and every client need this service. So if you don't know about the SQS, you cannot go with that service. Each and every client need the tip-top up-to-date information, then you have to go with this service. Like I just received the message, correct? That is nothing but the SNS service. So once you will finish your AWS solution architecture, you will get some idea that if any client will visit, how you will implement or how you will integrate that particular thing over here. In next session, I will show you one live project, that how this all things actually works together. Right now, time is up, and my, it is almost 10:46, correct? But when you will come in live session, I will show you the live projects on which I'm working right now. And I will show you over there, you will get everything. You will get networking, you will get security, you will get OSPF, you will get firewall, you will get Palo Alto, you will get AWS, everything together. Yes. Yes. And how these all things are work together. Yes. Anything else?
Yes. No, thank you.
No, anyone?
No, sir. Good night, sir.
Not good night. It's afternoon. Good night to every people, those who are in India. Yeah. See you guys. So
Yes,
tomorrow is
Friday.
Tomorrow is a Friday or Saturday? I don't know.
Saturday.
Tomorrow is Saturday. So
Saturday tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow
Today
is a Saturday.
Friday.
So we don't have any class for tomorrow, Saturday and Sunday, and we will meet on Monday. Yeah.
Thank you.
Mondays, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.